they played with my nose. I don't want touching. I don't want touching. So I'm looking. Now you'll tell me, how's my nose? Right? That's fine, right?
It's beautiful and perfect.
Says it's good. I have a wart on the end of my nose. Can you believe it? And I said, oh my, I don't have to. Look, it's terrible. But that's okay. Because they meant it well. I think they wanted to make me look like Cary Grant. Do we remember Cary Grant? And I've always wanted to look like Cary Grant. But anyway, you are beautiful. Will you make sure she doesn't fall? Come here. Thank you very much. Crazy. You're beautiful. Thank you, darling. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you. Be careful. That was... Right. That's so great. Never met her before. She's amazing. She is amazing. Thank you, hon. Appreciate it. But that's my relationship with Hispanics. That's why when they did the poll in the state, in Nevada, and I led and nobody believes it, but that's my relationship. And, you know, in New York, we have a Hispanic station, and the MC of the station's a good guy. I don't know him, but I watched him interviewed on television, and he goes, he's talking about Trump. What about Trump? How bad is Trump? Is he? Well, he said, I don't know. Every viewer that calls in, they all love him. They love him. All Hispanic. They love Trump because they know I'm going to do what's the right thing. I love the Hispanic people. I employ thousands of them, and they know I'm going to do what's right. So, a couple of more things. I want to just talk about two things. So we have the Second Amendment, and they want to take your guns away. And we can't let it happen. We can't let it happen, and it's not going to happen. And I just put a policy paper. You know, the press wants me to put policy papers because at the beginning they say, we agree he's leading in the polls, but it can't go much longer. Because he doesn't put policy papers out, you know. I guarantee my IQ is much higher than any of these people. Like my uncle was one of the great professors at MIT. I mean, believe me, if it's good genes, we believe in genes, right? We're allowed to say that. So anyway, but I don't put policy. So I decided I'll put policy. So I put policy out on tax. I put policy out on immigration. I put policy out on the Second Amendment, which is basically you are allowed to protect yourself, okay? If you read it. And they said, don't you think it's important to start talking about policy? I said, I have. I said, it's only important for you. It's not important for the people because they know I'm going to do the right thing and they know my stance. And they know my stance. But now we're keeping the press happy. They're all saying, oh, he's actually very policy-oriented because I put in a 14-page paper. But in the end, it's all very simple. And I will say this. I love being here with you. I loved yesterday my trip to Iowa. I loved the other day my trip to, I was in New Hampshire. I was in South Carolina. I am all the time. Somebody said, are you doing deals? A deal came over my desk last week because I'm running a business, but more and more I'm giving it to my kids to run, and they're good. And I have great executives because I can't be doing this all the time, right? But I have to because we want to win. We want to win. And deals come across my desk that are great deals, and I'd say, I don't want it. I don't want to focus on a deal. It's just not important anymore. You know, it's not important to me anymore. What's important is turning our country around. It's so important. What's important to me is, and I've been saying it over the last couple of weeks, and I've never said it much before that. I can't even remember having said it before that. So one of the networks today said, I've trademarked the expression, make America great again. Can you imagine? Who else is sick enough to trademark? Who would think of it? Because I had a couple of candidates using it. They see I go and I say, make America great again. Everyone stands there, go crazy. So they started using it, but the response isn't the same. It's, oh, great. Because they don't believe them. They're politicians. They're politicians. And you know, I was going to tell you before that, so all these guys that came out, they're all friends of mine, but then they come out viciously against me. Viciously. It's a horrible business, actually. The profession, whatever the hell you call it. It's horrible. So Perry came out, and he went from 5 to 0, and he left. Walker, he was a friend of mine. He was up in my office a year ago, gave me a plaque because I supported him. The professionals, you support somebody, you get a plaque, okay? I get a lot of plaques. Bing, you know what I do? I use them to put pictures of my family in there. But he came up, and he gave me a plaque, and he thanked me very much. And he was so nice. And then one of his guys came out and said bad things about me. Like I said, whoa, is that really? Yeah, said bad. Trump's bad, he's a bad guy. I said, oh, thank you. And then I hit Walker very hard. And he was supposed to win, do you remember? He was favored to win. They said governor of Wisconsin, but, well, I gave the real numbers. And I saw a magazine, it was a puff piece on him, but in one paragraph it said, big deficits, big strife, schools are in trouble, roads are in trouble. I said, I didn't know this, I thought it was all good. So I just gave those facts in Iowa, standing in Iowa, big news conference, and he got wiped out, and then he left. And when he left, it was nasty. He said, everybody has to leave, and leave one person to take on Trump. We've got to beat Trump. Can you believe that? I just want to do the right thing. And then we have, no, think of it. And then we have Lindsey Graham. No. He was always nice. He called me, he wanted a reference on something, and then he wanted campaign contributions. And he left me his number. He gave me his phone number, his cell number. And this was like 3 years ago. It's true. And I don't know why. I found it. I just have a whole pile of junk. I call that junk, see? That's junk, stuff that will never be used again. And all of a sudden, I found his phone number, and I had a news conference, and I held up his number. Here it is. And they said, read it out. Probably the press said that, because, you know, the press loves this. I read it out. And then I read it out a second time, and it destroyed. His phone blew up. It blew up. It was all over town. But he was a nice guy, and he wanted contributions, and he wanted support and all that, and that was fine. And, you know, my previous life, you know, I have two lives, right? I have previous life. I have my non-politician, the last little while politician. But I gave him a hard time. He went from 3, I only counter, you know, I'm a counterpuncher. I don't start these things. Everyone says he's a bad person, he's mean. I'm not mean. I get hit by these people. So he goes out, hit me right with that beautiful red hair. Look at her, stand up with that hair. Oh, I wish I had that hair. Looks good. Okay. So he hits me really hard. He's at like 2 or 3%. And I'm in the 20s and 30s. And he hits the hell out of me. I said, wow, the guy wanted like a campaign. He was a nice guy. What happened? He goes down, he's at 0. Now, they asked him the other day, will you leave? I will never leave. I will fight. Why not? Just leave. It's not working. Oh, and then they have the poll in South Carolina. Now, he's the senator from South Carolina. And I'm at 29 or 32, I think, something like that. And he's at 3, right? So something's wrong. He's probably not going to run for office again. Honestly, I think these guys have been mortally wounded. I don't even think they can go back into their career. And then we have Rand Paul. But he was another one. He was expected to win. And then he goes around before the last debate, and he's telling everybody, I'm going to attack Trump. He's not a true conservative. People are saying, yeah, but I like his ideas. I mean, you know, it's like, and I am. I'm a conservative guy. And he's vicious, and he's a vicious guy. He's a vicious little guy. I say, Rand, easy, cool it, chill, don't just take it easy. But he's at news conferences telling everybody what a bad guy. Now, he was another one. He was expected to win. Now, in the meantime, he's running in Kentucky, and he's running here. And I have great respect for the people of Kentucky. I love that state. I love the people. But what are they, second-class citizens? Why is he running here and running there? I mean, pick your place. But he's running here, running there. So, and I told that, and I think it's unfair for the people of Kentucky. I don't know. How do you do that? How do you do it? So he starts getting really, really vicious. I mean, every time I see him, the things he was saying, I won't even say him because, I'll say him. No, I won't even say him. So what happens is, then he said, I will get him in the debate. I mean, you all, am I right? Is this right? I'm going to get him in the debate. I'm going to go after him. He's not going to have a chance. I'm going to do numbers on him that are unbelievable. So my first question, I attacked him. And he didn't, after that, he was perfectly nice. He didn't, in fact, he backed me up twice, right? He backed me up. He was perfectly nice. So this is sort of a crazy thing. Jeb Bush, he was doing great. No? Well, he's a nice guy, but he was doing great. But I immediately, you know, when I think of the president, I think of somebody, you need somebody with tremendous drive, tremendous energy, and really up here, big league, right? And I didn't see the fire in Jeb. Stand up. Stand up. What was the expression? Low energy, he said. I don't know what, you know, sometimes you'll say something about somebody and it sticks, it just like sticks. Sometimes you'll say, like I called Rubio a lightweight. I don't know, that might stick, it might not stick, I don't know. I mean, to me, water, yeah, water. Shh. Remember the response on live television to the president's State of the Union speech? So they pick him because he's a young rising star. And he's talking, and he's sweating. And I'm watching, I'm saying, is he gonna be okay? You know? And he's sweating. And he keeps sweating. And the water's pouring down all over. And finally he goes. And I said,